Welcome back to From Vision to Legacy. I'm your host, Erica Marie, and this week we're going to talk about turning struggle into strength. So, to get started, right, I'm going to tell you a bit of a personal story. I'll make it real quick, I promise, and then we will get into the actual topic of this video. So early on in my accounting firm, I experienced a period of rapid growth that I was not prepared for, right? So what happened was I ended up self-sabotaging myself. So the clients that I did take on, I severely undercharged for. And I ended up bringing my girls into my business because I couldn't do it all alone, right? I took on more than I could handle because of my mindset. I had this mindset that, like, oh my gosh, if I don't take on these clients, my business is never going to go anywhere, right? So I got in way over my head. So I was overwhelmed, stressed out, barely sleeping, barely being able to spend time with my girls. And it got to a point where I was like, you know what? I deserve more. I need to raise my prices, right? Because I was doing the work. At first, I had this whole imposter syndrome thing going on. Like, I'm not good enough. I don't have enough knowledge. I don't have enough experience. I can't help them the way that I should be, which is what led to me undercharging, right? Those underlying limiting beliefs. And so then I started gradually increasing my prices because I figured out, hey, I can do this. I got this, right? I know what I'm doing. I have people I can call on if I need assistance, right? I'm very resourceful. And I was doing the work, getting things done. Then I started increasing my prices. And what happened was I started losing clients because even though I was raising my prices at incremental amounts rather than just one giant leap, because I priced myself so low, they didn't want to pay the higher price because they felt they weren't getting additional services for it, right? So it became this battle of wills, so to speak. Like, I'm doing all of this, but I'm only charging you this, and now I want to charge you this. That's kind of how they viewed it, right? So I sabotaged myself. I did lose some clients from doing that. It happens. However, I took it as a lesson. So initially, this was a struggle, but it became a strength because I knew from that moment on that I'm not going to undervalue myself anymore. Because when I undervalue myself, my clients or, potential clients, whether they're a good fit or not, will undervalue me as well. And then it just puts me in this cycle that I don't want to be in, that isn't getting me any closer to my goals. So it's a little cautionary tale for you, right? If you are not prepared for something or you have these underlying beliefs that make you feel like you're not worthy, they're going to come up and you're going to self sabotage. And that happens especially when you're trying to do something you've never done before. I am the first person in my family to own a business in my immediate family, right? And that makes me the trailblazer because I'm the first one to build a business. I'm the first one that's going after generational wealth, right? I'm the first to do a lot of things, even though I'm not the firstborn. So, that being said, if you have ever felt like the weight of your family's future or even the world is on your shoulders, you're not alone. I've been there. I still feel it sometimes, right? That's something you're gonna become accustomed to during this journey. And as you make the progress, it will ease up. Does it ever really go away? I don't know. But I know it eases up, right? So that being said, let's jump into the training. I did slides for this one. So that way you guys had the visual in addition to just me talking. Okay. And if you don't know, well, obviously, you know this is me, right? But this is my oldest daughter, Marissa, my second oldest, Inaya, my third oldest, Janae, and then my youngest, Cherish. So those are my girls. That is who I do it for. That is my why. And we're going to jump into some challenges because remember, we're going to be turning struggle into strength. So we're going to jump into challenges. We're going to go through four, but I'm also going to give you the solution. Okay. I'm not just going to give you a challenge and not tell you what to do about it. All right. So let's get started. Challenge number one is lack of support and guidance. Why is that a challenge? Because if you're a trailblazer like me, you don't have financial support to lean on, right? We don't have these safety nets to get us through when things get tough. And a lot of the times you don't have guidance, especially when you're the first in your family, because there's nobody's footsteps to follow in, at least not in your immediate family, right? Or maybe your network is non-existent or something like that, or maybe you don't really know anyone. Whatever the case may be, you're lacking support financially and otherwise, as well as guidance. And this leads to feelings of isolation. You feel like you're alone, right? Lack of direction. You don't know where to go. You've never been here before. What road are you supposed to take? How do you get there? What do you do? No accountability virtually, right? Especially as remote business owners where we work online, where we're working in the online space, not really an office where we have coworkers and things. We don't really have anyone to hold us accountable. We have to hold ourselves accountable. And that can be really hard on this journey to hold yourself accountable. I know firsthand, right? Because there's been plenty of times where I'm just like, you know what, I give up, I quit, I'm just going to burn it all down because there was no one pushing me to keep going. I had to learn to push myself, right? And find others that could hold me accountable. And another thing that happens when you have lack of support and guidance is that you have limited knowledge about where you're going, about what needs to be done, about how best to do it. And all of these things kind of just go into challenge number one, right? But there's a solution, okay? And BYL, so you know, is called Build Your Legacy. That is my signature program for ambitious, first generation, legacy building parentpreneurs like you, okay? And this is just some of the things that you get when you join. Why am I talking about this? Because it kind of goes into the solution, right? So, the solution when you have lack of support and guidance, right? When you're feeling isolated, is that you need a community. You need people you can go to. You need a network, right? People that you can bring your problems to, you can brainstorm with, that you can relate to, and that can help push you forward when you feel like giving up, because there will be times where you feel like giving up and you just need people to push you forward, right? You need that support system to keep going when things get tough. We also do co-working sessions though, right? Because as I mentioned, isolation is one of the feelings that comes along with that challenge of lack of support and guidance. And that isolation can be abated by something as simple as co-working sessions, meeting once a week, same day, same time, with a group of people on Zoom and everyone doing work together, right? And if you run into a problem, then you guys discuss it. If you need help, you ask for help. That's what the chat's for, right? You also get built-in accountability right there because you're telling the group what you're working on. And when you're done, what did you accomplish, right? These are things we need to know. Did you get done what you were trying to get done? But there's also accountability groups too. And we have monthly meetings. So there's a lot of structures already in place, right? And there's a lot of programs that do this. Don't get me wrong. Um, However, are there a lot of programs for you? You can join any program. I've joined plenty of business programs, right? Where they talk about the community and the training and all the things. And I get in it and I still feel alone because it's just this huge community and you get lost, right? You don't really get to find your footing because you don't know how, especially if you're an introvert like me. Like, I don't just go out and try to make new friends or go out and try to join a group. Like, I'm not the one that's always going to initiate things. I have my moments where I will, right? But generally, I kind of keep to myself. So being in those groups didn't help me, right? Because it just didn't help me. It wasn't for me. It didn't speak to me. They weren't working on the things that I was working on. It was more general. I didn't like it. I prefer targeted groups. So I'm very picky about what groups I join now or what programs that I join. Lessons I've learned in business, right? You also get a targeted roadmap. Remember, I said you don't know where to go, you're not sure how to get there. Well, in BYL, you actually get a targeted roadmap that's going to take you from where you are now to where you want to be. And it's all about your journey. It's not a generalized one size fits all thing, right? It's highly personalized, just like the work I do in my accounting firm is highly personalized. So that roadmap you're going to get, the reason it's targeted is because it's targeted to you, your journey, your vision, where you are right now, and where you want to go. And it also talks about your strengths, right? It takes those things into consideration. And of course, as with any program, there's going to be a resource library. So there's trainings to help you with the pain point of limited knowledge. A lot of these trainings are accounting related. All of the new trainings are 100% targeted for parentpreneurs who are working to build a lasting legacy. So, ready? Challenge number 2. Okay. Balancing family and business. I know you know this is a struggle for you, right? Because you have competing priorities. And there's guilt that comes with those priorities. You feel guilty for spending time with your kids because you feel like you're neglecting your business. And then you feel guilty for spending time in your business because you feel like you're neglecting your kids. How do you balance it? Right? They're competing. Like your kids are important, but your business is important. You're doing the business for the kids to give them the life you never had, right? But then your kids feel like they're missing out on time with you. You feel like you're missing out on time with them. It becomes a whole cycle, right? And you just feel like there is not enough time in the day for me to work on my business and spend quality time with my kids. But also, there's no time for you, no self-care, right? You're not focused on you. If you're like me, okay, and you're working or you're spending time with your kids, you're not thinking about eating. I don't need to eat. I'll be all right. I don't need to sleep. I can stay up later to try to get this done so I have more time with kids tomorrow. It happens, right? You get in this cycle where you're put on the back burner. You're last. We don't want you to be last in BYL. I don't want you to be last in general, okay? I've learned that if you put yourself last, you're going to, again, not be able to go where you want to go. You're going to self sabotage because you're going to be exhausted. Your creativity is not going to be flowing the way it should, right? There's so many things that happen when you forget to take care of you, and it shows up in your business. It shows up when you're trying to spend time with your kids because you're not yourself. You can't keep pouring from an empty cup, okay? So in BYL, of course, we have a time management system. I have one personally, but I also encourage you to develop your own, right? You can use mine because I do teach you what mine is, or you can use your own. You can come up with your own, whatever's going to work for you. I personally use a priority 4. That means there are 4 things that I'm focusing on any given day, and there's an order of operations to those 4 things. Some are flexible, some are not. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. I got to keep this video, within the 30 minutes, hopefully shorter for you guys this week. But I'm not going to get into it, but that is a training that you get, right? Both in the Jumpstart Your Legacy training series, which by the way is your foundation in the program. So that's how you get your targeted roadmap. Okay. But there's also time management trainings. So I dive deeper into things like automating work, right? Batching, outsourcing, um, time blocking, things like that. And I give you tips. And I tell you, and I'm going to tell you now because you need to hear it, schedule self care. Schedule yourself a lunch every day and schedule time for you because you have to take care of you if you're going to build this legacy for your kids. Okay. So that's why you need to start prioritizing you at the end of the day. Just saying. Right. So next, we're going to talk about financial setbacks and unpredictable cash flow. So you remember that story I told you in the beginning, right? It kind of touches on this struggle and then the final struggle. All right. So you'll see how it goes, right? So, financial setbacks. What are some financial setbacks that you'll experience? Lost clients or customers, right? An emergency expense you weren't prepared for. If you're remote and your computer breaks down all of a sudden and you don't have the funds to fix it, right? That's a setback because now you have to figure out how to come up with the money to fix it so you can do your job effectively. It happens. But as a business owner in general, we're on this roller coaster. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's inconsistent income. Yes, you can have monthly recurring revenue, and I always tell you that's the goal, right? However, things happen, right? It's life. Nothing ever goes 100% according to plan. Okay. So the other thing that comes along with this, I'm going to count it, right? So lack of financial clarity. So if you don't know where your money's coming from or where your money's going, how are you supposed to know what to do with it? And your money should always have a job, right? You should always know exactly where your money's going. It's going to this bill, this is going to savings, this is going to this bill, personal, business, whatever, right? You need to know these things. Your money has to have a job, 100%. If it doesn't have a job, you're going to spend it on other things. It's not going to sit there in your wallet, right? It's not going to sit anywhere. It's going to get spent. So give it a job. Tell your money exactly where it's going. That's how you actually make your money work for you, just so you know, right? You know exactly where it's coming from, and then you're telling it where to go rather than getting to the end of the month and wondering where your money went. That's what happens with lack of financial clarity. You're just sitting there wondering, like, where'd my money go? What did I spend it on? Then you got to go back through your bank statement and all your transactions, right? Figure out where it went, and you're like, oh, I should have put it here. I should have did this. I could have did this. I would have did this, but you didn't. Don't do that. Okay. So in BYL, I told you there is financial management trainings galore. The ones that I'm going to focus on right now, right, is cash flow 101. So that's going to help with that inconsistent income, right? And then increasing your revenue. And I believe it is three secrets or three keys, something like that, to increasing your revenue. I went over things that you could do immediately to start increasing your revenue, to make more money, because you need to make more money, right? You're trying to build a legacy. So you need to make more money. How do you do that? Increase your revenue. A lot of times you're going to be raising your prices, right? There's other things that you can do to increase it as well. And we get into that in training. I'm not going to get into it in this one, right? So what else? You get targeted action plans and a targeted savings plan. So not only do I want you to be making more money, I also want you to be saving money. Okay. You're going to need an emergency fund, both for your business and for your personal life. You're going to need money for retirement. You're going to need money to pay your bills each month because you're going to have double the bills. I know you know that, right? You have your personal bills and then you have your business bills on top of it. Entrepreneurship is not easy, but we do it, right? And it's worth it. But the biggest tool, there's plenty of other tools that we have, but the one that I want to focus on is called the all-in-one tracker. Okay. And that literally gives you a budget, cash flow, KPIs, and goal setting all in one place. And then you have a dashboard that's visual. Remember, I told you I'm a visual learner too. So the dashboard has charts and graphs and it gives you key metrics and things like that. And it gives you clear insights more than anything. So that lack of financial clarity, now you have it. You have a budget, you have a cash flow, you're tracking the most important KPIs for your business, and you're even tracking your progress towards your goals. And all of this is visual too. It all feeds into the dashboard. Um, that's one of my favorite tools to use, trust me. It was something new that I developed specifically for Build Your Legacy. And I'm really glad that I did because I use it and it has been a game changer for me because I used to be that person who had a spreadsheet for everything, right? Spreadsheet for personal stuff, spreadsheet for business stuff. I had personal budget, personal cash flow, right? Personal goals, business goals. I had everything separate until I brought it together. Once I brought it together and I was able to streamline it, it was so much better, so much easier, so much clearer. Because at the end of the day, as a business owner, right, our business income affects our personal situation. Our personal situation affects our business income, right? So, moving on to challenge number 4. We're at number 4 already. Okay. Fear and self doubt. Mindset is going to be a big struggle. Imposter syndrome, right? Feeling like you're not good enough, or you don't have the skills you need, or you're not experienced enough, or you don't have enough education, right? Whatever you're feeling, imposter syndrome is real. You feel like even though you have the education, even though you have the experience, you still feel like you're not good enough. So you overcompensate or you undercharge or both. If you're like me, right? You do both. You go above and beyond. And what happens? You end up being burnt out, stressed out, overwhelmed, overworked, underpaid, all the things, right? But I want to give you guys an exercise to do with this one. So I'm just going to talk about, for purposes of this exercise, because this is something we do in BYL deeper, but I want to give you sort of a preview, right? You have a limiting belief. You identify one that pops up, right? Like, say, I'm not good enough. Traditionally, mindset coaching tells you if your limiting belief is I'm not good enough, the opposite belief should be I am more than enough or I am enough, right? But here's the problem. Your brain has been believing I'm not good enough for so long that it's not going to immediately believe that you are good enough all of a sudden or that you're more than enough all of a sudden, no matter how many times you tell yourself that. I don't care who you are, right? You're human. That limiting belief is there for a reason. It's been there for a long time. It just comes up when it comes up. But when they come up, this is how you turn this struggle with these limiting mindset beliefs into a strength. Rather than immediately trying to start convincing yourself of the opposite, you're going to do two things, okay? You're going to bridge the gap in your mind, and then you're going to find the evidence to support it, okay? So if you feel like I'm not good enough, you can't instantly go to I am enough or I'm more than enough. Instead, you need to say, I am getting better every day, or something along those lines that your brain will believe, and then find the evidence to support that. So if you feel like you're not good enough, right? And then you say, I'm getting better every day. Well, where's the evidence? Well, a year ago, right? I wouldn't have even did this. I wouldn't have been on YouTube. I'm gonna use me as an example, right? I wouldn't have been on YouTube. I wouldn't have been doing these videos. I wouldn't have been consistent every week. But I'm getting better every day and now I'm doing it. There's the evidence. Now your brain can believe it a little, right? And it believes it more and more as you continue to compile the evidence, because that's just one example, right? Another example could be I have more savings today than I did 2 weeks ago, a month ago, a year ago, whatever, right? Just find the evidence. That's all you got to do. That's going to increase your confidence. It's going to make it believable in your mind, which makes it easier for you to make that mindset shift. Instead of it being this colossal leap, you're able to bridge that gap. And it's a lot easier to get from I'm not good enough to I am enough or I'm more than enough. So hopefully that's helpful for you, right? I know it's been helpful for me. And what happens when we bridge the gap? We have increased confidence at the end of the day, right? Because it's like, okay, I'm feeling better about myself. This limiting belief is just that. It's a belief. It's not the truth. It's not the fact, because I found the evidence to support why it's not, right? To support why this other one is. That's what I did. And then you can easily have a clear strategy for turning your struggle into strength. And that's what we do in BYL. Okay. It is all about turning your struggle into strength. All right. So every challenge that you faced, every sleepless night, every hard decision will be worth it in the end. It will. But you also don't have to make that journey alone. You don't have to do this alone. Okay. Everything you've been through shaped you into the person that you are today and has made you ready to take the journey to a better tomorrow. Do not doubt yourself. Okay? That is my message for you today. Don't doubt yourself. If you're doubting yourself, find the evidence to show why you shouldn't. If I say I don't have enough knowledge around bookkeeping, accounting, and taxes, right? Where's the evidence to support that? You have 2 degrees in accounting. You do taxes every year. You stay up to date with all the changes, right? You're doing the work day in and day out with no mistakes. What do you mean you don't have enough knowledge? You have the exact amount of knowledge that you need to get your job done, and then some. right? Because experience is also a teacher. So you need to do the same thing when those limiting beliefs come up for you. Find the evidence to show why that belief is not fact. It's simply a belief because your only limit is in your mind. Your struggles are your superpower. I don't want you to feel like they're not, right? Why are they your superpower? Because they build resilience, they build strength, they build character. They also build your story. It makes it that much more meaningful, right? So you don't have to do this alone. If you want to join me and build your legacy, you can simply just go to my website. It's www.empower, EMPOWER, yourfinances.com. There are different levels that you can join at, right? I try to keep things flexible and affordable as much as possible. And next week, okay, we are going to be talking about, one second, sorry. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can, and it was really, really loud. So sorry. Okay. Next week, we're going to talk about building those habits that you're going to need, those daily habits on this journey. Why are we going to be talking about that one? Because it's important, right? So we talked about why it was never too early or too late to start your journey. We talked about this week, right? We talked about turning your struggle into strength. Now we need to talk about habits. Remember, I'm taking you on a journey. Habits is what's next. We're going to talk about that next week. Building habits to support building your legacy, right? But before I let you go, I have a question for you. What struggle are you committed to turning into a strength? I want you to comment that below. My mindset was a struggle. I've been turning it into a strength. I'm still turning it into a strength. It's a continual journey, right? But what struggle are you committed to turning into a strength? Let me know below. I'm curious. I want to know. But thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on your notifications for future videos. And if you feel called to, invite others to this channel, other people that you feel it could help. And if you're feeling called, join Build Your Legacy. We'll be talking about this more as, the weeks and months go on. I never want to overwhelm you. There's so much that I could talk about with the program. However, I'll keep it targeted in these trainings, right? It's not always going to be about my program, but I did want you guys to know that that is available for you if you're needing some support, some guidance, if you need that targeted roadmap, if you need to know how to get from where you are to where you want to go, and you need help shaping your vision, all the things, right? It's there for you. So thank you so much for watching. Until next week, bye.